Welcome, Wanderer. Minions are out of control, using your basic skill to do trillions of damage. And the very interesting part, it already works from level 1 on, all the way to Torment 4, Pit 100 and beyond with one of the nicest power curves you'll ever have. And there are only two things you need to get it started. That's Grim Reapers. Your Skeleton Warrior attacks have a 25% chance to use Reap, dealing 150% of normal damage. Plus, Unstable Power. Chaotic magics erupt from your basic skills and they now overpower critical strike and do 100% bonus damage, with a cooldown which doesn't matter. This leads to a gameplay loop where I activate my Bone Storm, waltz into our opponents, pull them all together, then put them in a Bone Prison for more damage, 100, 200 billion, yeah. And the skeletons are just slashing away. Blood Mist in, pull them together, again Bone Prison them, dudes walk in, boom, 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 and everything gets destroyed. And that works for every piece of content. Might it be bosses, might it be the pit, whatever. And I'm not even running the perfect maxed out setup. And here we are, though, having our skeletons go crazy. There's a 500 billion, and we're currently doing up to 2 trillion damage max. It is great. You cannot die because you're consistently in Blood Mist. You have the enemies Bone Prison away from you, so they take more damage. And, well, you also pull them together with your Corpse Channels, so they can't actually touch you, get stunned, and are gathered up. Great. Whee! Blood misting around, and your skeletons just kill it all. Beautiful. Now, these two powers you already have by level 10. And since everything is a critical strike overpower, if you add Brawn over Brains, we get another 125% overpower damage, together with Crazy Brew giving us that massive bonus attack speed that also translates to your minions. And since we are overpowering so much, you can actually play Rathmas Vigor for another 100% overpower damage. And since our dudes are using Reap, it gets very interesting. First, you want to have as many points into this as possible. Currently, I'm at 21. That's already good. And if an enemy hits by Reap dies within 2 seconds, we gain attack speed. That attack speed translates to our minions, and they have even more attack speed. You can throw in a Blight in between for that 10% damage multiplier. Using your Blood Mist will give you another 10% critical strike damage bonus, and using your Bone Prison is 15% more damage, plus vulnerable. We get the Curse to reduce all of our cooldowns pretty quick, and that's why we're also playing Cursed Aura, so everyone is cursed around us. And we can use these Gloom and Terror skills because we are actually doing shadow damage. Yes, our minions are doing shadow damage. Isn't that great? The Bone Storm is active to give us a little bit more damage reduction. We don't need the critical strike chance with the Bone Storm increase because my minions always critical strike and overpower. So it's absolutely unnecessary. Item-wise, you don't need anything to go from Torment 1 to Torment 4. That's pretty much where simply your Paragon points are coming in, and you get Cult Leader, go up to 100% attack speed, get 200% damage bonus, and that's it. You're already in Torment 4, alone with the Power Trio and your Warriors, without having considered a single item. In order to get as many Warriors as possible, you're playing the Skeletal Skirmishers, because it gives you one more Warrior. Then we sacrifice our mages for overpower and our golems for the bonus critical strike damage. And again, that works extremely early, right? These bonuses, they just apply right away. Then you obviously have to play Occult Dominion because you get 2 more warriors. And you're going to play this on your boots because here we can get a greater affix to Skeletal Warrior Mastery, and that's 6 ranks. And every rank to Skeletal Warrior Mastery is another 15% bonus damage. On top, you want to stack Maximum Life, Intelligence, and Lucky Hit Chance for the cooldown reduction, where Maximum Life helps you to quite stay alive, because we only have the 800 armor for 60% damage reduction, and our resistances are lower since we play Brawn over Brains. Now, Reap is a basic skill, so everything that has to do with basic skills will actually boost our damage. Every single unique that has anything basic skill related going on. This leads us to the Shard of Arathia. Basic skill ranks, 135 bonus damage, and maximum resource bonus. Why is that maximum resource bonus so important? Because we're playing the aspect of adaptability, which gives us 0.9% more damage for each point of primary resource we have. And we're currently sitting at 214. That's a huge damage boost. While we're also rocking Evolution on the amulet with maximum resource and intelligence. We tempered corpse tendril size, and then casting macabre skills restores resource. We'll get to that in a bit. Let's first cover the other items. Just keep in mind that casting those macabre skills will be extremely important for the gameplay loop for maximum damage. Other basic skill items that boost our damage are the Pain Gorger's Gauntlets. They do 8 ranks to basic skills and 17% attack speed. You need to get to 100% attack speed for your warriors to do the maximum damage with a cult leader. So having these gloves, straight up great. Then you want on your focus to play the Moonrise aspect. Damaging an enemy with a basic skill grants you more attack speed, it gives you a damage stacker of 60%, and it makes everyone just move faster. Beautiful. Most important is Reap to hit twice. That's the amazing temper, because your skeletons will reap, but instead of just hitting once, it will hit twice. With maximum resource and cooldown reduction, we make sure to have the adaptability pop, and to be able to spam our cooldowns as often as possible. Your rings definitely want to play the attack speed. Attack speed is king again. Then macabre skills for restoration of resource and overpowered damage. Plus the aspect of the damned for the 55% shadow damage on cursed enemies. We always do shadow damage. And then with the reanimation, another 60% damage multiplier. Amazing. Your helmet wants to have Skeletal Warrior Mastery as well. In total, with a triple masterwork, I think we can have 7 and 7 going on. Which is actually quite crazy, right? Having that amount will just lead to double-digit trillions of damage. Interesting temper on your helmet is chance for minion attacks to fortify you. Works extremely well. Then maximum resource and intelligence again, plus the Decrepify aura. Now to the 2 chaotic armors that will make everything go super bonkers. And that's going to be the Litless Wall. Litless Wall gives you more Bone Storms, 80% main hamp and weapon damage, that anyways boosts your damage, Bone Storm duration, all very good, cooldown reduction, yes, nice, but the more Bone Storms you have, the more damage multiplier we're getting, critical strike damage multiplier. We sacrifice our Golem, we sacrifice our mages, we get multiple Bone Storms working towards that 100% critical strike damage multiplier. And on top, if you get the Bloodless Scream, that would be killer. First and foremost, it gives you non-physical damage bonus. That's amazing anyways. It then gives you darkness skills. We're using Reap. It's a darkness skills. We have a lucky hit chance to do some shadow damage. We have a lucky hit chance to restore some resource. All nice and good. But your darkness skills chill enemies for up to 100% and deal 240% increased damage to frozen enemies and bosses. You heard right. And bosses. Because that's where the bosses are just taking another huge chunk of just a boss, just 240% bonus damage like that. And now you might notice in the gameplay how my resource is dipping low. Even though I'm not spamming Blight, I'm not doing anything that costs resource. And that's because of the Quox rune. We currently run Ahu, lucky hit chance to produce offerings, and then Quox for that 100% bonus damage depleting our Essence Globe. The problem would be now, how do we refill our Essence Globe so we can actually use the Quox? And that's where the Macabre skills come in. What is a Macabre skill? Well, that would be my Blood Mist, so whenever I Blood Mist, I get 10% critical strike damage multiplier, and I fill up my Essence Globe. And whenever I use my Bone Prison, that's also Macabre skills, I fill up my Essence Globe. So your job is it pretty much to get to the targets, to have your minions hit, pull everyone together, and then as soon as Quox happens, Bone Prison, Blood Mist, Bone Prison, Blood Mist, Bone Prison, Blood Mist. And the longer enemies are alive, the more lucky hit your dudes will do, the more Quox will trigger, the more you gotta make sure to keep your resource up. It works really nice hand in hand. And that's also where the lucky hit tempers come in, to allow you to lucky hit more, to get more Ahu, to then be doing even more Quox damage. Paragon Boards, we get the Essence Glyph for maximum critical strike damage and the critical strike damage multiplier. Then we play Wither. It's a 20% chance for 300% bonus damage. My minions are using Reap. It is shadow damage. It can deal that 300% bonus damage. On top, we get here the Eliminator Glyph for intelligence stacking. Then we go into the Cult Leaderboard for the 200% bonus damage, plus the Dat Razor Glyph. Very good. We love it. That moves us upwards into the board of the Bloodbath. You deal increased overpower damage, 40%, just like that. And yes, we do only do overpower damage. And after overpowering, you deal 25 increased blood skill damage. That's obviously useless. However, we can then put in the Gravekeeper Glyph here as we're going to be surrounded by corpses because our dudes are lucky hitting and they're making corpses. So we get a nice little damage multiplier. That one could be swapped out towards the Abyssal glyph because Abyssal actually does increase non-physical damage and non-physical damage multiplier, while the Gravekeeper does a nice 18% but only gives you 13% bonus damage against healthy enemies. So after the enemy is not healthy, the bonus is not good anymore and it's only 18%, where the Abyssal gives you a grand total of 18%, and if you have less corpses, maybe the Gravekeeper ain't that efficient anymore. So choose your poison here. Then lastly, we get the Frailty board for that next 40% damage multiplier, just working great, and the Dominate glyph that we're stacking as high up as possible for that bonus overpower. In order to feel not squishy, make sure to really hit that 800 armor by using the biggest skulls you have available, by maybe getting an armor roll on your boots and or helmet, right? These will easily help you to get there. I usually use some Incense of the Mountain, to push this somewhat further. You don't need to look for critical strike chance or anything because you're guaranteed to critical strike. So that's amazing. Just get your critical strike damage and your overpower high because that's your damage, and just make sure to have that 100% attack speed. For the Mercs, you can weasel out here for resistance or for armor, whatever you actually need, because you gotta make sure that you get as much resistance as possible. You want to be at the 52%. Should be possible with easy intelligence stacking. Worst case scenario, all resistance on your boots, but that shouldn't be needed, as the Necromancer does actually have a lot of resistance nodes he can take everywhere, and you can get there easily. Now a little word on the usefulness of the build. For the pit, it feels extremely good. Killing bosses, also super easy. I mean, Belial just keels over, bop bop, done. What about Infernal Hordes though? And that's where it gets a bit tricky, because you have skeletons that do an insane amount of damage, right? I mean, they destroy everything. However, we can't direct their damage, so you gotta play a certain way. You're gonna be in the middle, you're gonna pull everyone together, right? So your minions hit them, and if you need them here, you really need to extend, right? Because otherwise your dudes are gonna take a while to come. So I tend to just blood mist there in that corner and then actually blight the target, because that usually has them attract the aggro over there. So it can be a bit tricky at times to really, have the targets you want dead to be dead. However, you're still absolutely able to clear your 666 ether. That being said, the Soul Shred, the Soul Wraith build, is simply better, and the Bone Spirit build as well. Interesting enough, the Bone Spirit build as well needs the same things as you actually need with your minions. So by making the minions, you're preparing for the Bone Spirit. You need the Pengorger's Gauntlets, you need the Shard of Varathiel, you probably want to have the Litless Wall as well. You want to have the Macabre skills with the attack speed and everything. All these things are exactly the same for the Bone Spirit build. So by making build number 1, you at the same time make build number 2. So you're going to be prepared for both. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Are you going to give Skeletons a try? It's super fun, especially for the leveling portion. If you haven't done a Necro yet, just get these 2 powers, go into Penitent difficulty almost, and they're just going to tear everything apart. It is crazy to see them reap from level 1 on. You get yourself the Occult Dominion, you have the bonus. God damn, it's so good. Enjoy, watch this video, and take care.